corporations start getting involved with NASA's, what it normally does, NASA's been going downhill in terms of quality and what they've been doing. Everything they need to detach all private stuff and go back to doing things on their own, funded properly like they used to be.
Now, I guess first of all, could I get your first name?
James Scott Gregory.
James, okay. And so whenever you think about how, like, what do you see as the best time that NASA did anything? Like what year?
I was born in 1986.
Okay.
And I grew up in the 90s. The first couple of years, from 86 to 1990, was a blur.
Okay.
But I remember the best in NASA was in 90s. It was probably better in the 80s and a couple of decades back. But I saw their best stuff in the 90s when I grew up.
Okay, like the space shuttle.
Yes.
Building the space
they
station.
They never should have decommissioned all the space shuttles. I knew they had at least like one they got rid of. I know it would take billions of dollars of upgrades and all sorts of work to redo the whole, because the whole thing needs to be done and need to be upgraded, update more modern. But the old ways work better, and as we progress forward, things started getting wonky, worse and worse and worse.
Okay, and like whenever you think about worse, like what do you mean?
For example, Voyager, the Voyager 1 Pro, which recently fixed, is running on code older than MS-DOS.
It was back in the 1970s.
It was built to last 5 years. It's 49 years old. It's still running, and it's all the way beyond Pluto now.
Yeah.
And NASA was somehow able to fix all the way from Earth, communicate to Pro, and somehow retrieve the code that makes it work and fix it from that distance in less than 6 months. They thought it'd take over 6 months at least. And they did it in a fraction amount of time. Because they recently found out it was messed up because there was a faulty memory chip. They don't know what caused it. They had called theories.
Well, and plus, I mean, it's been out there for so long. Like you said, it's only supposed to last 5 years.
Yes,
it's been out there for 50.
Now, that was then. Tech was made. It was very old, very slow, slower than the chips in your watch these days.
Right.
It was that slow, but there was less that could go wrong. It was more robust. It was built better. There was less that could break. Now, we have phones that won't even go a day without something going wrong.
That's true. Very complicated, machines. But are you familiar with like the Ingenuity helicopter that went to Mars, and they actually did multiple little flights? I mean, it's a little drone that the Mars rover put down.
The rover,
but it flew. It's only supposed to take a few trips, and they did dozens of trips with it.
Yeah.
And then what do you think about that? I mean, is that like the high quality that you're thinking of? Or?
Well, to be fair, it's probably more modern, but still, NASA has and still does make good stuff.
Right.
A lot better than everybody else.
Now, did you know that NASA's planning to send astronauts back to the moon?
They're planning on doing that. I've heard about that. I'm excited to hear it. Although, I hope they retain some older tech on board in case something goes wrong with newer stuff. Because newer stuff, it's not as good as older stuff. It's faster, better, more sophisticated, but because it's more sophisticated, there's more things that go wrong.
That's true. The more complicated.
It's better to be more. I've always believed in redundancy. The more levels of redundancy you have, the more fault tolerant you have. That's taught in Networking Plus. I'm trained, certified in it.
Right.
The more redundant a server has, the more damage it can take and keep going.
Because it has backups.
Yeah, it has backup systems. In case this fails, it falls like this. In case this fails, and the more redundancy level it has, the more times it can fall back and handle errors.
That makes sense.
And once all of those redundancy levels fail, then you get a critical system failure, and somebody has to go in and fix the whole mess manually. The thing with redundancy, the more levels you have, when it finally all breaks, the harder and more hell it is to fix it all.
Well, there's that too.
That's the only thing. The more redundant you are, the more complicated you are, and if you break, the more hard it is to fix you.
Now, I have a question. Whenever you think about our future in space, like 200 years out in the future, do you think we're still just doing these little trips, or do you think we have people actually living on the moon and Mars?
Well, given how technology and there's a little thing that we called technically Moore's Law.
Okay.
And that means Moore's Law causes technology as a concept to advance and evolve exponentially on an every 2-year basis, or 2 or 4 years. I forget which. I think it's 2. Given this, and that mankind is a tool-based species ever since cavemen.
Ever since we got the spear,
ever since we got fire.
Fire, yeah.
I mean, forget the spear. Ever since fire was the biggest breakthrough.
Do you think we had fire before the spear? Or
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure which came spear, the spear, fire, or the wheel. Certainly, the wheel or fire came one or the other before. I forget which came first. But when fire showed up, we had an awesome tool. The more we learn, the more we build, the more we can do.
That's true. It's like builds on itself. I mean, you invent paper, now you can share ideas.
It's exponential development and progress development of civilization and the human race as a species as a whole.
And there's more of us with more free time to do more things.
Even with all the chaos and distraction and the crap going on around the world.
That's true.
Part of that is deliberate.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I think so. Part of that is never mind.
Well, if you could, would you take a trip to space?
If I was better fit,
okay.
Yes, because to be in space, even with the space infiltrating, you gotta be built.
I mean, the astronauts though have been, and that was true with like people that flew airplanes at one time, but now everybody can fly airplanes.
Yeah, but not everybody's bodies can handle the stress of lack of oxygen or no oxygen.
No, that's true. But I mean, you would be inside of a pressurized cabin.
Yeah, but still, the less atmosphere you have outside the cabin, the more pressure you need inside to balance things out.
Sure.
So that pressure can do funky things to the body, especially the ears and the brain. The rest ripples out from there.
Well, James, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Yeah, I hope NASA and Congress and the agencies that funded and helped NASA start off and get going, I hope we return to old ways, stick to it, and then progress forward again while keeping the old stuff that worked properly.
That makes sense. Well, thank you so much.